Man, who actually seen this one coming? I didn't see this one coming. I don't think anyone would have seen this one coming. This one is, I don't want to say shocking, but it is a surprise. I don't want to say shocking because that's too strong of a word for something like this, but it is a surprise and we're going to talk about it. So now, after we got the news 2 or 3 weeks ago that Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard, we now have Sony for the PlayStation brand making an acquisition for Bungie for $3.6 billion. I want to talk about that number at least a little bit because when you look at that number, you have to say, man, that is a lot of money. And it is. It's a lot of billions for one developer, just one company, one group of guys in their building. That's a lot of billions. Okay, so that's around half the cost that Microsoft paid for an entire publisher with Bethesda. Now we know they paid a whole lot more for Activision Blizzard, but there's a whole lot going on in that company and, obviously Call of Duty. I rest my case. But almost $4 billion for just Bungie. And I'm not trying to say that Bungie hasn't proved their worth in the past or that they won't, further prove their worth in the future. But it's a lot of money. And considering, right, we have to consider this as well. We need to talk about the fact that, Sony is also saying we are going to keep these games multi-platform. Now, what that actually means and what that actually entails, we don't know. We don't know if they mean, oh yeah, we'll keep it on PlayStation and PC, or we'll keep it on, PlayStation 5 and, VR or something. They could be talking about just in the PlayStation family of multi-platform games. But I don't think that's a little bit of a stretch. So I think what they probably mean is, they're saying that they're going to let Bungie do, as they please and reach as many players as they like. But if you own the company, you spent billions of dollars, kind of the same case I was making for Microsoft and the Activision Blizzard thing. If you spent billions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars, why are you going to allow your competition to have some of those games? I don't see that, especially from Sony. It would be strange to see a Bungie game that's now owned by Sony, an IP that Sony, helped fund and, oversee the whole project just to let Xbox have that game. That would be a crazy world that we would live in at that point, and then it's like, is anything else off the table? Are you going to release Uncharted on Xbox or something at some point? That's why this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I know that Bungie is kind of known for both their stories, their single player, as well as their multiplayer, probably more so for their multiplayer, and that's fine. And if I was a betting man on these matters, which I'm definitely not, but if I was, I would say that this is not a coincidence. Sony wanted a developer that is known for their multiplayer efforts, that's known for their co-op efforts, as well as, they're able to make a good single player story game, which Sony obviously loves. So they're getting the best of both worlds from someone like Bungie. When you look at it, it's kind of exciting because when you start thinking about some of the other developers that Sony has under their umbrella, you can say, man, not only can Bungie make games for Sony and make these exclusives for Sony, but they can assist other developers at Sony with their netcode and different things like that. They've been doing it for so long. They understand multiplayer. They understand online probably better than anyone else, making, top level games at Sony. So this is really exciting. It's great for PlayStation, obviously great for Sony as a whole, and really big for PlayStation fans. And I say some of this with a smile on my face because it's crazy to me. It's crazy to think, this can't be a coincidence. You look at what Sony just got with Bungie. You know what they're about, and you see what Microsoft did 2 or 3 weeks ago with the Activision Blizzard purchase. You know what they're about. Call of Duty, stuff like, Diablo 4 will undoubtedly be huge, especially on PC, but I expect the hype and the marketing to be bigger than it ever has been before for a console when Diablo 4 releases on Xbox on the same day. I definitely can see stuff like that happening. And Sony is thinking, we don't know what the future of some of these games are, especially from a shooter standpoint. Like, it's a lot of uncertainty. And Sony is thinking about that, and they're just like, hey, Bungie, what's up? Almost $4 billion. How's that sound? So they went out and snagged them. And I think that this is a really good purchase, but there's no way that it can be a coincidence. And I don't think that Sony is done. I don't know if I expect them to, start snagging up developers left and right throughout the year or anything. I actually expect us to hear that Microsoft grabbed another developer or a whole other publisher before the year is over. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but that's what I'm expecting. all in all, you know, in conclusion, I think that this is a really good purchase for Sony. It's a really good get for PlayStation. And if you're a big PlayStation fan, obviously this is good for you. But I'm thinking, you know, kind of just long term, you know, someone like Bungie, someone as talented as Bungie, what can they do outside of a shooter? You know, like I would like to see them make something that isn't a first person game and kind of go from there. I know a lot of PlayStation fans would like to see that as well. It doesn't have to be a third person game, but I mean, I wouldn't mind, you know, I would like id Software to go and do something that isn't a first person shooter. Just to give it a try, you know, take all of that talent that you see with something like Doom Eternal and just put it into a new IP. I don't care what it is. If it's interesting, I'm gonna check that shit out. So eventually, yeah, I expect that from Bungie. I mean, they'll probably make Sony a shooter. You know, it'll probably be a new IP. I can see that coming, and Sony wants that. Like I said, they're not necessarily known for some huge mega must-have multiplayer experience on their platform. They're known for single-player experiences, and that's fine. So just to wrap this one up, I think it's awesome for everyone involved, especially the gamers. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I really appreciate it. You guys have been awesome with these last 2 or 3 videos and my comeback, and there will be more. Stay tuned. Take care.